Hey viewers, my name's Cara. I am so excited to finally get to this video. I meant to record it earlier this week when the new Sims 4 base game updates came out before the newest expansion pack. Tuesday, July 23rd, there was a base game update that included romantic boundaries updates, as well as some cool buttons in CAS that let us apply some feature from Create a Sim to all of their outfits at once instead of having to do things over and over. So I played with that. But mostly I was excited to play with the romantic boundaries. So I want to introduce you to this household that I just made. I called it Friends with Good Boundaries. There's 5 of them. I will be uploading them to the gallery. I'm CuteWitch772 on the Sims 4 gallery. That is also my main channel here on YouTube, so you can check that out as well. This is my second channel. So here we have Friends with Good Boundaries. The first sim that I made is Quinn Gilbert. I randomized names, I randomized the sim to get started, and then I sort of went from there and picked everything else. Right here, let's start with, the customization. Underneath the male and female gender symbols, there's this ... customize, and you can customize gender and some things about them. Can they use the toilet standing up or not? Their sexual orientation, and then the new romantic boundaries section. Quinn's pronouns are she, her, and her sexual orientation is that she identifies as a lesbian. She is romantically and sexually attracted to women. But I did say she is exploring romantically, so through gameplay that could change a little bit. Her romantic boundaries, however, to start, it is by default, all of these things will trigger jealousy in a sim, and then you get to decide if you want to opt out of that. For Quinn, they're all, yes, these things will make her jealous. So the first one is, if any romantic partner engages in non-physical romance with other Sims. Other creators have explained this a bit. I think it was probably in the blog post. That refers to things like if they flirt with other Sims. The next one is, do they feel jealous if any romantic partner engages in physical romance, excluding woohoo, with other Sims? So that would be things like kissing, snuggling. So it's physical, but it's not woohoo. And then the third one is, do they feel jealous if their romantic partner engages in woohoo with other Sims? And the fourth option is whether or not their jealousy triggers could change by talking about it with other Sims. And I've seen a little bit of folks' gameplay. I haven't played with these Sims yet myself. I just created them. I've seen some people play with this update a little bit, and it comes up in conversation. They can ask their partner to reconsider a romantic boundary, and they might agree, or that request might fail. It might not work. I've also seen if the Sims repeatedly do things that are against their partner's boundaries, they will automatically break up with them. So there are things like that that are being affected in the game. So that's Quinn as far as that stuff goes. Her aspiration is that she's looking for her soulmate. I did do some likes and dislikes, mostly likes, but a couple of them I gave dislikes. So you can see them there, they're popping up. But I'm not going to go through the likes and dislikes of all of them. Just know that they are there. I customized a lot of things for them. Quinn is cheerful, perfectionist, and a foodie. I'm not going to go through all of their outfits either, but I did do all of their outfits. Some of them I left. If the random outfit looked good, I might have just changed the color to like their favorite. Well, I guess I can click through the outfits real quick to show you. That doesn't take very long. Quinn's favorite color is pink. I don't know if you could tell. So that's Quinn. Oh, here, let me show you here too. This button up here next to all of the outfit choices, this is the new apply to everything. This works in whatever category you're in at the time. So because I'm in the tops category, this is apply this top to everything. But if I go here and I click on makeup, this would say apply makeup to whatever. And this refers to all of the makeup. But if I click into one of the categories like eyeliner, oh, I can't do it for eyeliner, but for eyeshadow, eyeliner is also, or eyelashes rather, are a new thing that they just added as well. So we can't do it with eyelashes or eyeliner, but we could do it with all the makeup, I guess. But with the eyeshadow, you can apply the eyes. Oh, I guess that might include eyeliner and eyeshadow. That's why. But anyway, you can do just individual ones, like clicking in lips. It would be apply lips to all of these. So yeah, you can do all of the makeup as a whole together, or some separate things. You could do just the shoes. I did this for their nail polish, because I did do nail polish on some of the Sims, and I applied their finger and toenail polish to all of their outfits, so I didn't have to click it every single time. It's very good. So let's move on to the second Sim. This is Tessa Bliss. Their pronouns are Zer. And that is an update that came out a couple or a few years ago now, that we could change their pronouns or give them custom pronouns, and I haven't played a lot with that. So I gave Tessa Zer pronouns because I don't get a lot of practice with those particular pronouns or a lot of other neo pronouns in my day-to-day necessarily. So I think it's a fun way to get some practice seeing and using those different pronouns. So I might mess up right now because this is really the first time I'm engaging with it, but that's part of practice. So Tessa wants to be a computer whiz, again, has some likes and dislikes. They are, nope, see? Z is outgoing, a geek, and self-assured. And I'm pretty sure Z randomized with a reward trait special necklace, because this necklace doesn't exist in my game. I only have base game and a few packs. I did make this household base game, so they don't have any of the pack content. I went through and made sure, because I did accidentally put a romantic garden stuff shirt on somebody, so I went back and fixed that. But yeah, this necklace doesn't show up in Kaz, even when I take all of my filters off. Yeah, weird. So I think it's a reward trait item, isn't it? Like, not a reward trait item, but a daily login rewards item, because I feel like I recognize it, but it's not in my game, so I can't put it on them. I can't put it on one of my Sims, but Z randomized with it. So interesting. So this is Tessa's everyday. This is Zer formal, active, sleepwear, very casual. This randomized, and I was like, that's fine. That feels like Tessa. Party is also mostly, this is the way it randomized. Swimwear, this is how it randomized. Hot weather, I changed the color of the dress. And then cold weather, this is pretty much how it was. As for their boundaries and all of that, Tessa is romantically and sexually attracted to anybody and everybody, and I also selected that they are exploring romantically. And when it comes to Zer boundaries, Tessa is the polar opposite of Quinn. We've got none of these things will trigger jealousy for Tessa. Very open, nothing's going to make them jealous at this point, but I did also leave it so that their triggers could change by talking about it with other Sims, because I'm wondering if it also works the other way around, where the Sim could ask them to reconsider and become more jealous, like have more of a strict boundary around it than they already do. So I thought that would be interesting. Next up, we have Davis Mills, he, him. Davis wants to be a neighborhood confidant. He's romantic, neat, and loyal. Davis is exclusively interested in men, romantically or for woohoo, and is not exploring romantically. Davis is explicitly a gay man, and his boundaries are a little yes, a little no. Davis does not get jealous if his partners have non-physical intimacy or romance with other Sims, so he doesn't care about flirting, but he will get jealous right now if there is any physical stuff going on, woohoo or not. But he could change his mind through talking with other Sims. Oh. And here are Davis's other outfits. Formal, athletic. Some of these, again, are just as they randomized. I changed a couple of things, changed the color of a couple things, but there's Davis. Next up, we have Aubrey Heron, they, them. Aubrey wants to be a writer, a best-selling author, and they are creative, active, and a bro. Their favorite color is purple, so you will see that in their outfits quite a bit. I think Aubrey is one of the only ones that I did change a little bit in the gender category. Aubrey is able to become pregnant, but cannot produce milk. Which, by the way, producing milk or not is a new, I don't remember seeing that option before, so I don't know when that was added, if that's with this patch or if it was previous and I just haven't seen it. Sexual orientation, Aubrey is not particularly romantically attracted to anyone at this moment, but they are exploring. I said it that way because I don't really know what that does in game. Like, maybe that means they don't initially respond well to romantic advances, but since they're exploring, maybe that'll change through gameplay. I'm not sure. But they are interested in woohoo with anyone. And when it comes to their boundaries, I think because they are still really exploring what their romantic interests are, they will get jealous about non-physical romance or physical romance that is not woohoo, because maybe they see that as a little bit more like personally intimate. However, they do not feel jealous about their partners woohooing with other Sims. Again, this could change through conversation, through gameplay, but Aubrey is a yes, yes, no on the 3 romantic boundaries options as a starting place. And this is their outfits. There's the formal. We've got some athletic. There's a little bit of a cow plant tattoo peeking out. We have sleepwear. This looks so comfy, although I don't personally sleep in like long pants, but that looks so comfy to lounge around in. Their party wear I made very femme and fun with little touches of that sort of like light purple. The cowboy hat randomized and I was like, we're gonna go with that, but I changed the color. And then we have swimwear, hot weather, and cold weather. You also can't see because their outfits are very modest, but Aubrey has top surgery scars as well. That is something that is in the base game now. We have like body scars options and more tattoos, body hair, so they have visible arm hair. They also wear a little bit, just like a light bit of makeup all the time, a little bit of gloss. I think they look awesome. Purple happens to be my favorite color too, so I'm maybe a little bit biased. But our last Sim in this household, Frances O'Connell, is a little bit more similar to me in some ways. Frances's pronouns are they, them, and she, her. Because of the way that you put those things into the customize, it pops up here as they, her, instead of they, she, which is how I write mine. But it's because when you come in here under custom pronouns, it gives you example sentences so that you can type in what you want them to be and make sure that it works grammatically the way that you want it to. So I used they as the subjective, her for the objective. So they would like a grilled cheese. Bob told her about the best grilled cheese ever. Possessive dependent, I made it their. Grilled cheese is their first love. Possessive independent, that burnt grilled cheese is hers. And then the reflexive, Eliza made the grilled cheese themselves. So, because this is how my pronouns are, I prefer they, them for the most part, but I still resonate with she, her. So I like people to use different ones. And you don't have to like switch between the two in one sentence. It's more just like whichever one happens in the moment. I do prefer they, them if people are thinking about it, but if she, her happens to come out of their mouth, it's not something that I feel unaffirmed by. It's just like, okay. So I played with that a little bit here of like some of them are they, them, some of them are she, her. But yeah, it appears up here as they, her because it shows the first 2 like versions. Anyway, so Frances wants to be a freelance botanist. They have some likes and dislikes as well. She likes green and they love the outdoors, are a vegetarian, which I'm a vegan, so I also put that in there as like a little nod to this is the one that's the most like me, although they look nothing like me. And she's also a goofball. Their favorite color is green. This is their formal. Oops, we skipped. Athletic. Frances also has a little forearm tattoo, which I do as well. Mine's not a plumb bob, but again, for some reason, I just decided Frances, even though I wanted Frances to be a blonde, because none of the other Sims randomized as blonde. So I made her blonde. That obviously is not like me, but a few other things. I added little nods to myself and my style in here. And we don't have the same favorite color, but like that, I love this outfit so much. And then their cold weather. Her gender stuff, Francis can neither become pregnant nor get others pregnant. That is the only one that I did with this one. They are romantically attracted to anybody, but not currently interested in woohoo with anyone. So, unlike me, Francis is asexual. And in the romantic boundaries, Francis is a yes, no, no. So, Francis, being romantically interested in people, will get jealous if their partner is flirting or otherwise like being non-physically romantic with other Sims, but because they're not interested in woohoo themselves, Francis does not get jealous if their partner engages in physical romance with other Sims. And again, their jealousy triggers could change through talking about it with other Sims. This, of course, doesn't have to be the case for everybody, but with Francis, I'm really imagining that Francis is polyamorous of some variety. And so being asexual and not interested in woohoo, but they don't care if their partners engage in woohoo with other Sims, I am imagining that that is a thing where they have multiple partners. They know that their partners would have other partners who are fulfilling their desires for woohoo that they may have because Francis is not interested in fulfilling that need. And that's one of the things for me about polyamory, about ethical non-monogamy, but polyamory is one type of that. So several of my friends and I have been colloquially referring to this update as the polyamory update. But since the update really does allow for differences in woohoo boundaries as well as not just romance boundaries, I think it's more appropriate to say that this is an update that allows us to play with ethical non-monogamy or consensual non-monogamy. Some people prefer different versions of those terms. If you're like, Cara, what the hell are you talking about? I'm going to link an article in the description of this video that when I just wanted to look up, like, there's got to be somewhere that has a good explanation of ethical non-monogamy versus polyamory, how polyamory is part of that larger category, but what's the difference between them? And the first one that I found seemed good and also links to other articles that are very helpful too. So I'm going to put that in the description. You can read more about it because I really feel like that's what's going on with this update. Additional fun fact, the term polyamory was coined by pagans. Are we surprised? Being that I am cute witch, of course I have to talk about that. Morning Glory Zell Ravenheart is often credited with coining the term polyamory, and I'm going to link an article below that has some research about that, different people's stories about different times that versions of the word were used, anecdotes, direct quotes, things like that. But actually, where I first learned it is in a book of interviews called Modern Pagans, where 5 members of the Ravenheart family polycule were interviewed. And in Morning Glory's interview, she talks about coining the term polyamory and it being part of a conversation with the wider community of non-monogamists and wanting to have something different to call it because monogamy and polygamy, the ending gummy, refers to marriage, and that's not what polyamory is necessarily about. It's about having multiple loving partnerships, not necessarily multiple legal marriages. So in the interview that I read in the book, there were other terms that were in use by people who were in this community at the time, and just none of the words really fully fit for everybody. And so Morning Glory and Oberon and all of the other folks in the Ravenheart family and some of their friends started using polyamory. Poly referring to many and amori referring to love. So many loves or multiple loves. Not all, not marriage, but many or multiple and love. And so a lot of people, I see people on the internet talking about like, well, poly is a Greek root and amor is a Roman or Latin root, so they shouldn't actually go together, so the word should be this. But the word was very specifically put together by people who were practicing these relationship dynamics, and there was a very specific thing that they wanted to communicate, and this is the word that allowed them to do it. Other people might use different words to describe much the same thing, but that is the word that I am familiar with, and I kind of love that the Ravenhearts, that pagans were the ones who came up with it. I actually got to meet Oberon several years ago. Morning Glory passed away in 2014, so I never got to meet her, but I did get to meet Oberon some years ago, and that was very cool. Anyway, back to the Sims video. So that is the Friends with Good Boundaries household. I'm so excited to actually play with these Sims, get into the gameplay and see what that's like, but I knew that I was going to be talking about these Sims for a while, so I'll do some gameplay another time. I recently posted a speed build of a desert mobile home. That'll be the most recent thing on this channel, and I still have to do the landscaping. I'm going to do a separate video on the desert landscaping for that. I also need to build a house for these guys all to live in. That'll be fun. And I still have to edit part 3, the final part of my Barrow Hill playthrough that I did like a while ago. I finished the game, but I haven't edited and uploaded the last part. So there will be things coming on this channel, but I was particularly excited about, again, what my friends and I were lovingly referring to as polyamory update for The Sims 4. So I wanted to make sure that I was ready to do some stuff about this update, because it is very fun and exciting, because that is something that is part of my everyday life and the lives of many of my friends. So I love that we get to play with that more and explore that more in the game, because honestly, it's just been so annoying, like playing the game or watching other people play the game, and as soon as a Sim flirts with another Sim, compliments their appearance or whatever, their partner gets incredibly jealous. And not all people get jealous about a simple thing like that. So it's been very annoying that like sometimes those interactions will completely ruin the storyline that you're doing, because the Sims can do those sorts of things autonomously if you have autonomy on. Sometimes somebody flirts casually with somebody and then they're in a big fight. And so now you have the opportunity to be like, you know what? That's not gonna bother them. And you get to decide what's going to bother them, what's not. You can play with it through gameplay, have them reconsider. So I'm very interested to see what else there is. I was watching one of Lil Simsy's videos, and the option came up after one of her Sims had woohoo with like a different partner. Then they were talking to one of their other partners, and the option came up to recap woohoo. And Kayla didn't pick that option, but the implication was that the Sim could recap like the woohoo date that they just had with somebody else to their partner that they were talking to. And Kayla was like, I don't think I want them to do that. But I thought it was so interesting to see that if that is what that interaction is, I didn't expect that to be in the game. Like, because that is a thing with some people's relationship dynamics. They want to know about what went on with your other partners. That's part of the open communication. I was very surprised to see that there. Kayla didn't pick it, like I said, so I don't actually know if that's what the interaction was about, but I think it probably was. So let's play some of this in the future and find out. Like I said, I will be putting this household on the gallery, so you can go find them and play with them as well. I just remembered I actually made notes the other day for what I wanted to talk about in this video. So the Lovestruck pack actually has a Paragon partner aspiration, which is very clearly like a polyamory type aspiration. I don't have the pack, so I'm not going to be playing with that aspiration, but it includes just a few things to do. Talk about boundaries, have multiple partners, and have like a satisfactory relationship with multiple partners, and then go on multiple dates with your partners. So it's a very simple aspiration, but I think it's kind of cool that it even exists. And then the other thing I wrote down is that if there were advanced features with the romantic boundaries, I'd like to see a little bit more nuance and specific choices in the physical romance that is not woohoo category. Like, for example, I would like to choose if they are bothered by hand holding, kissing hands, kissing cheeks, versus like full on making out. Because I feel like those are pretty different categories of things. Like, I hold hands with my friends all the time, and I don't think that most people would be bothered by that, because platonic hand holding is becoming more of a common thing now. And like kissing a friend on the cheek or something like that is very different than making out with people. So I could see people's jealousy triggers being very different, even just within the category of what is technically physical but not woohoo, because like holding hands is physical, snuggling is physical. So yeah, if anything, I would like to see more specificity within that category. But otherwise, I think this is very cool. So that'll be it for this video. I will see you next time. Until then, don't forget to be awesome. Blessed be, and goodbye.